Hey, moving on.
That was good. That was a
Psycho
good talk.
Psychonauts 2. You wanted to talk about this game.
Yes, Game Informer Magazine is this month's edition is talking about Psychonauts 2. Now, I have read the entire article. It's a long one, and basically it's going to come out this year, sometime in 2021. I heard it was August when I looked into it further. So, to those who are not well aware of Psychonauts, who are like younger than 25, Psychonauts is this guy, this kid, I should say, has these psychic abilities where he can block off mental interference. Like the general, the hot chick, we want to call her that skinny and all at the same time, that hot chick. Even the scientists, they try to get into his mind in the first game of the series, and they couldn't. So he was one of those top recommendations for the camp to go through the training in General's mind, and I'm still stuck in that level. So it was pretty cool to see that this kid can do so much with his own mind, and he hasn't been trained for it yet. So he got these binoculars that you see it on Charles Lindbergh or what's it, Charles Lindenhurst and stuff like that from the old school airplane days. So he was really into being a psychic and all. And now, after 15 years of its original release, the same company, I believe, is going to make Psychonauts 2, or they're in the plan on releasing it this year in August at the earliest. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see what's going to happen for the next after August. See what's going to happen.
What's the gameplay like? Because I watched like the first. You did a video, a sample gameplay of the first Psychonauts.
Yes,
I
indeed.
watched like I kind of got bored after like the first 15 minutes of it. What is the gameplay like? I mean, what kind of gameplay is it?
Well, it's a lot of cutscenes at first.
Right.
So if you're not a fan of like watching like a movie, good luck to you. But after that, it's more of a platform. It's like Crash Bandicoot meets Jackson Dexter almost.
Okay.
But the only
Okay.
difference is that you gotta collect these psycho mental capsules or whatever in the general's dream and all, because each dream has different types of mental capsules, what do you want to call it. So the more capsules you got, the more likely you'll survive in the dream or in his mind of the general in this level. So that's what I'm doing right now. And if I get caught in one of those dream webs, I might get stuck and die in that dream web. There's like two or three that I saw so far in the level, and I could have fall into one of them by mistake. If I was stupid enough to walk into it, that's my fault. I was still obviously I didn't happen, but it could have. So anyway, I got stuck up on the part where you do this platformer with like gymnastics and all, where you do these spin arounds and these flips with with the wiring and stuff like that. You're high wiring, like you're balancing yourself on the wire. It was pretty cool. It was challenging at first. I was like, damn, I didn't expect it to be this challenging. Because I had to think for a second. Okay, I had to jump on top of the wire. Don't swing. Do swing. Do I go up? Do I go to the side? Shimmy to the right, shimmy to the left, drop down. So it was pretty cool that back in the 2000s, that was the best gaming experiences ever, because they make you think, they make you, it's challenging. Even the graphics weren't all that high tech, but it was still a good story, a good setting of Psychonauts, Siphon Filter, Time Crisis, you name it. After 2010s to 2014 with Halo, I don't know what the fuck happened to gaming, but before then, that the 2000 especially was the pinnacle of best gaming. The best minds who make the
Best
games,
stories in gaming.
the best minds who made these games, were considered to be the best games ever, or one of the best
I
games ever.
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of games that came out after 2010 that I love the story of. So,
Like what?
um, well, the Walking Dead story, the Life is Strange. Um,
Okay, yeah, point. Those are just like point and click. And we're talking about like platform. We're talking about FPS, rail shooters, action adventure, action racing. We didn't see all that after. Well, Forza Horizon 5 was the one considered to be like the not the best racing game of all time, obviously. But it's considered to be like one of those like, okay, you actually made it appealing to me to buy this game for racing. Because last time I bought any racing games was what, a demo disc of Test Drive 6, was Test Drive 3 or 4 or 5, something like that. It was one of those old school games, Test Drive. So those who are not well aware, Test Drive is a racing game from the 1990s into the 2000s, and they stopped making games since then. So it was crazy.
I don't know. Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing Transform, that's a good racing game. Split Second was Xbox 360 era, so that was before 2010. So racing games, you kind of got a point.
Mario Kart 8, 7, 6, they were all right.
Yeah, but yeah, Mario Kart 8 for the Wii U, that was after 2010. So yeah, I mean, there were good games that came out. Unfortunately, a lot of them also turned out to be duds. Some of them I actually played.
Yes, indeed. But it's horrible right now with the gaming world, because these kids, or at least the younger gamers, they're not as excited about the gaming aspect, because it was the presentation of these games were all right, but they weren't as like exacerbated or over empowerment or empowering or over exaggerated. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't nothing like that back in the 2000s. Because when I but when I went to the arcade to see Time Crisis 3 for the first time, I was like, what? And then all of a sudden I saw Wild Off, like, what? And then he got a partner, Wild Fang, like, what? And I was like, you know what I'm saying? you never got that excitement before. You never got that.
I have a few other games that came out. What about Injustice: Gods Among Us that came out in 2013? That had one hell of a story.
Oh yeah, my neighbors who are my age, like the ones that play games, whatever, they're like, "Yo, son, did you play that Rainbow Six with Joker? He's a fucking killer." That type of feeling, because we weren't experiencing that as much after 2010. It was like, okay, it was dwindling down, but then all of a sudden it got back up with Injustice. Now I have a copy of it on my PC. I haven't got a chance to play it yet, but I will play it one day. So, but yeah.
Well, also it's available on Xbox Live Games with Gold.
Oh, perfect! I should have gotten it already. Right now, it is.
Until the end of the month.
Right now.
Yeah, it's on. It's Xbox 360's Games with Gold offering from the 16th to the 30th.
All right, I want to go on that fucking site not right this second, but after this podcast. So
yeah, and there were also a couple other games like Enslaved: Odyssey to the West, Heavy Rain, which came out in 2010. So I don't know if they fall before or after that line. That also had great stories. Beyond Two Souls had a great story that came out after 2010. So, I kind of argue that, it's not like we're not being told great stories. I think we just look back on 2000 to 2010 era more fondly because that was the time we grew up.
Well, yes and no, because why is it that a 19-year-old, when I first met him, or he was 17 or 18, I'm sorry, I have to mention him over and over again because he's a gamer like you and I are, but he's a younger form of it. So you expect him to be excited, feeling all giddy. His other friends are the same thing too. They're not into they don't feel impressionable. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't jump up and down for games like we did. Like, oh my god, James, look at this! Time Crisis 3! Ah! Because they're not into that. When they see fucking Monster Hunter World, they're like, meh. And when they see Anthem, meh. When they see fucking Cyberpunk 2077, which was a tabletop game of Cyberpunk 2020 back in the 80s and 90s, meh. What the fuck? You guys not excited for anything? Come on now. You know what I'm saying?
other games, yeah, but at the same time, other games also, I've experienced that recently. Also, I got go in Red Dead Redemption 2, um, and Alan Wake as other games that came out in 2010 or afterwards. Um, there are games I I don't have as much excitement for games as I used to.
Right, of course.
Um, but at the same time, it's just. But is it? But is that our fault? Because we've seen so much that Is it partially that we've seen so much that it's really impossible to amaze us because we've seen it, because we've been gaming for so long, we've seen it for so long. They would really have to do something outside the box to.
Yeah, you're partially right because we're getting older and such. We see the same thing over and over almost. But the younger guys should be almost like us back when we were 20, 19, 18, 17 years old. They weren't like that. When SmackDown versus no, it's not SmackDown versus Raw. So when SmackDown Shut Your Mouth came out, we were excited for it, and I was doing the torpedoes of the ladies and the breasts for the men. Remember that night that I shared with you my creative characters and all? So it was something like that. It's an inside joke, guys. Basically, I created creative characters that have torpedoes and for the females.
Basically, Dr. Games 101, every man he created had breasts, and every woman he created had torpedoes.
Basically, I was over sexualizing my characters, especially the ladies. Because Scott Steiner, he had, buffed up bodies and stuff like that. But like you said, there's nothing close to what I made.
and besides, Scott Steiner, Big Papa Pump Scott Steiner, is 1 in a million.
Yeah, he works out like a motherfucker, I bet.
Well, I'm saying, you created 10 characters that would either have that. If they were men, they had breasts. If they were women, they had their breasts were so big they were actually torpedoes. But you would create 10, 20, 30 characters like that. Scott Steiner is one person.
I created Jeff Hardy Jr. I created Angel, who was a female with the torpedoes. Miss Chang.
You created J and K for Men in Black.
And I misspelled J and K.
Those are the only names I remember. But I remember like your characters just being like so. It's like you think Lara Croft has impossible proportions. People who think that should have seen your created characters and then talk about impossible proportions.
Yeah, talking about that's hard to find these days. But they did show one woman on the Jenny show back in the 90s and 2000s. She had an XXX bra size, and it was very weird of her to have that kind of breast implants on her. But, some teach their own. Men have preferences, I'm surprised she did it, but she did it.
Okay, moving on. Rainbow Six